Good morning, PhilGood. How's everybody doing?
That's what they call that. PhilGood.
Today, I am very excited because we're going to talk about a big topic, so probably not going to fit all of it into 20 minutes, but we're going to keep going recording, and then you guys are going to be able to watch all of this. Can you fix that, please? And also push it a little bit that way if you can. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, great. Right in the middle of the...
Okay, so you guys are going to be able to watch the rest of it at David Carson TV on YouTube if you're interested in it. Today we're going to talk about the toxic nature of sugar, and the reason why we picked this topic is because there is so much misunderstanding and, can I say, ignorance around this topic? Is that, I know people get offended, but...
Ignorance just means they don't know it, that's all.
So, what I brought today is an article from 2012. It was written by Robert H. Lustig, Laura A. Schmidt, and Claire D. Brindis. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. Anyways, I only know one of these out of the three people. Robert Lustig is a very well-known endocrinologist who has been talking about the dangers of adding sweeteners or any kind of sugars to added sweeteners to food. So, thank you. So, I'm going to read it, and as I'm reading it, we're going to talk about it. Okay, so just keep it in mind, the article was written in 2012. I'll tell you why that matters. Okay, last September, the United Nations declared that for the first time in human history, chronic, non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and diabetes pose a greater health burden worldwide than do infectious diseases, contributing to 35 million deaths annually.
35 million.
So the reason why I pointed out the time, because this was 8 years before COVID hit. And now if you guys go back and see how many people died from COVID in the first year, then you're going to see something near 2 million, which we don't know if it's true or not, but we know one thing for sure. 35 million versus 2 million, it's like 17.4 times more, roughly. I don't remember the exact number, but anyways, what does that mean? That means is that while you're bombarded by information, you know, by the media, with information, by the media, about COVID and, you know, how scared you're supposed to be, and now you have to vaccinate yourself in 15 different ways.
No, you don't.
What? There was a little bit of a peer pressure, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
on that subject.
Lose your job or
yeah, exactly. So we know that. So why do you think that we're talking so much about COVID and, you know, that's what a danger it's posing to your health, and nobody mentioned that more than 18 times people die every single year from non-communicable diseases, which are all related to what? Well, the rest of the article says, this is not just a problem of the developed world. Every country that has adopted the Western diet, that's also called the standard American diet. Western diet, standard American diet, they mean the same thing. One dominated by low-cost, highly processed food, has witnessed rising rates of obesity and related diseases. There are now 30% more people who are obese than who are undernourished.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And do you guys know why? Because we made food cheap. Food was not supposed to be cheap.
Well, let me back this up.
Yeah.
Undernourished.
Yes.
If we're talking about food and real food versus processed food, they're undernourished anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted. Even those who are eating and get to eat a couple meals a day are still undernourished because they're not really eating food.
They're not eating. They eat
and growing. There's no energy. There's so much pain, so much sickness and agony. I know. Once after my car accident through they started putting me on psychiatric meds. Not, hey, you got an injury, let's put some crutches on you and get you back in shape. Don't walk on that yet. No, they just gave me psychiatric drugs, which slowed my metabolism down. I gained my blood work's just gone into Dr. DeMaio's Paradise Behavioral Health. So one of the things on the genome mind thing is it shows like what drugs, if they gave them to me, would affect me this way or that way. And
all of your drugs were on it?
Yeah, everything that they gave me was listed in there. And one of the tests they check with your genes is weight gain. Like this drug, if you give somebody that Seroquel, Geodon, the drugs they gave me, I went from this to 267 pounds, a 49.5-inch waist. I mean, I did it in 8 months flat.
Well, I think it's really clear for everybody how obesity is related to cardiovascular disease and all chronic diseases. What is really not clear for everybody, in my understanding, is how sugar consumption and the kind of food that people like to eat is related to all of those diseases and obesity. So let's just read this a little longer, because there are a lot of very interesting facts in here. It says, economic development means that the populations of low and middle income countries are living longer and therefore are more excuse me, I lost it right here.
Don't lose it, Fru.
They're more susceptible to non-communicable diseases. 80% of deaths attributable to them occur in these countries. So, if I'm understanding this right, it actually means that this is less likely of a problem in a less developed country. So how does that go? Can you guys figure it out? The more developed we are, the worse we eat. The more developed we are, the less nourished we are. So why is that? Like, how does that make sense?
Well, how many of us garden? You know, I'm 51 now, and I've only been gardening for 5 years. Like, all my life, I never planted one thing.
Well, and still, when I talk to people about gardening, everybody's looking at it as a hobby, you know, or when I tell people that I have to prepare 3 meals every day.
Oh, you know what? You know what I was just telling you yesterday?
What?
I have actually got the feeling of what it must have felt like 100 years ago. A little bit less of a stress because, you know, if I fail, there's food to fall back on. You can still go to the grocery store and go to the produce aisle and buy that stuff with all the poison on it, you know, that I've been eating so regular for 5 years now. Our goal is, y'all might think we're crazy, but my goal is for us to only eat what we catch, kill, or grow ourselves.
Right.
And that might take 10 years, but as much work as I've done the last week out there, I'll probably be all right.
I'm not worried about how long it's going to take. Like, the summary of this article, I'm just going to highlight the important points because I just read the intro. Sugar consumption is linked to a rise in non-communicable diseases. So again, non-communicable diseases would be anything from cancer, high blood pressure, metabolic disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, and we could go on and on. Sugar's effect on the body can be similar to those of alcohol.
Arthritis, even.
Yes. Sugar's effects on the body can be similar to those of alcohol. And, well, he's not talking about this, but I actually know this information from him as well. Sugar affects the brain in the same way how crack cocaine does. Regulation could include tax limiting sales during school hours and placing age limits on purchase. What he's talking about in this article is that if we know all of this stuff about sugar, why are we not regulating it as alcohol or as drugs? And I think it's a very valid question. I already know that this is happening in other states. I know that here where we are at, people still laugh at me when I say this, but actually I moved here from Colorado, not here, but anyways, I lived in Colorado for 13 years, and the very last years that I spent in Colorado, they already implemented that drinks that had higher sugar content were gonna charge higher tax on them, so at the end of the day, you're gonna pay more for them. And we all know that that's not gonna stop people.
Right.
But this isn't about...
The liquor store's full.
Right, but this isn't about stopping people. It's about making people aware of what they're purchasing.
And doing the right thing.
And and what kind of an effect that's gonna have on them, because people don't ask the right question unless somebody takes $1 out of their wallet. So it is a good idea. I'm all for it.
Oh, I want y'all to know, I've been waiting, 5 years? I said, Fru's been jacking me for the whole time we've been together. Quit eating sugar. She went how many years without eating sugar before we met? 5 years. So before she met me, she was 5 years clean.
Not just sugar,
I guess
but
I put
also
the sugar spoon back in your mouth,
yeah.
and because it's difficult when you're okay. So I quit heroin, cocaine, meth, alcohol, all these things I did on a regular basis. Some of those, like heroin or pain pills, opiates, they're all the same thing. I don't care what you don't know about. I know about it. It affects you exactly the same way. It is exactly the same medicine. Just at a lower dose and a more protected way, which is more dangerous, if you ask me, because people can take it and not feel like they're doing anything bad to themselves, and then you're addicted to it. But I quit all that stuff. If she would have been a pain pill taker, you think I could have handled stopping all that?
No.
What? So I was a smoker, she was a smoker. When I quit smoking, I could quit because every time I went to jail, I didn't smoke. And I already knew it up in my head. I ain't going to have any kind of rough deal. I've gone to jail, didn't smoke for 90 days, not one problem. So that's how I just had it in my mind. But while she was still smoking, if I didn't continue smoking with her, then she would have hidden around and felt bad and guilty and shame, and all that stuff would have conflicted our relationship. Plus, how difficult it is for me to not smoke and kiss her and smell that stuff. Because smokers don't smell that.
I never understood how that works out in relationships that only one person smokes. I'm like, how can you handle that?
Yeah, it stinks, and we don't know it until we quit. But I said all that to say this. I'm 1 week sugar-free. I'm not hitting the floor. I'm not shaking. No, I've achieved all these other things and got there.
Now, let's talk a little bit about sugar, because this article that I'm reading is about how toxic it is, but what people don't understand is what sugar is, okay? Because he says he's sugar-free. What does that mean? Is it depleted of fructose now? No, fructose is in everything. There are different kinds of sugars, and one of them, which is in everything, is fructose. So I'd like to add that when he said I was 5 years sugar-free, oh no, honey, I wasn't just sugar-free. I wouldn't eat pizza, I wouldn't eat bread, I wouldn't eat pasta, I wouldn't eat chips, I wouldn't eat rice, I wouldn't eat potatoes. Why? Because they're full of carbohydrates, very high in carbohydrates, let me put it that way. And anything that's high in carbohydrate is going to turn into what in your body? Fructose, immediately. The more concentrated it is, the more starchy it is, the less water-soluble fiber it has, the more it's going to spike your blood sugar, which is going to lead to hormonal imbalance and eventually diabetes, and a myriad of other health conditions that we're not going to mention today. But just so you know, hormonal issues, autoimmune issues, very, very strongly, all digestive issues are very, very strongly related to the fact that the vast majority of people are consuming more fructose than how much they need.
And while you're doing this,
yes,
don't feel stupid if you're hearing stuff that you're like, what? I didn't know. She knows her business. But none of us have been educated. Our system has been set up to keep us busy, working, and trust. Oh, we trust the doctors, we trust the FDA, we trust the United States government. And we go to the doctor, we go to the hospital. When I was a kid, I'm not saying it's wrong to do any of that. I still see doctors. I still go to the hospitals. And up till a week ago, I still eat a donut with you. So I'm not saying you're a bad person and neither one of us are. So please don't take it like we're trying to tell you you're a bunch of heathens. We want you to be healthy, but we've been ignorant. We don't know what they've been doing to us. And if you don't know,
then you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That's pretty much it. And
so that's what Dr. PhilGood's all about.
Absolutely.
She's the one we call PhilGood.
Okay, so he goes on. Many people think that obesity is the root cause of these diseases. But 20% of obese people have normal metabolism and will have a normal lifespan. Conversely, up to 40% of normal weight people develop the diseases that constitute the metabolic syndrome, diabetes, hypertension, lipid problems, cardiovascular disease,
So people that
and
look normal,
non-alcoholic fatty liver
like you and I,
disease. Yep,
have the
that's
exact
right.
same.
Yep, you can tell by
So
looking
don't
at
feel
them.
bad if you're obese.
Yeah,
Don't.
this isn't about obesity.
This isn't about.
No.
You know, but
Obesity, here goes. Obesity is not the cause. Rather, it is a marker for metabolic dysfunction, which is even more prevalent. So it also says the UN announcement targets tobacco, alcohol, and diet as the central risk factors in non-communicable diseases. This is really funny. They say diet, but they don't, well, I guess they do specify, but again, we don't really know about it. When we say diet, it's talking about this Western diet. It's talking about the burgers that you eat, or we too, not just you, but, like the French fries or whatever.
your favorites.
The French fries are my favorite
Hey,
kind of crack.
Have you seen that commercial? I mean, not a commercial. There's a video going around social media of that guy talking about all the chemicals that they've identified in Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Every Christian's favorite place to go.
Yeah.
Our favorite place to go. As a matter of fact, it's right by PetSmart. And so every time we go to Oxford, we can get a chicken salad. It's good. Plus, it's from a Christian company.
The only reason
If you haven't seen that video, you guys ought to watch it. It's really disgusting for me to know that our society, my neighbors, my family, my loved ones, people I care about, my kids, we're all living in this together. And uneducated is my kids are too concerned about how much money they have to make so they can take care of their family, just like you are.
Yeah.
That consumes a person. That's Egypt. That's the slavery.
That's how we are kept in slavery. So if this is
what-
not clear for anybody, I just want you to know, if you're worried about how you're going to make a living, that's everybody. And you know what? That actually...
Or how you're going to pay for healthy food.
That is actually how those who are in charge are going to, abuse us. Because fear and also this very narrow focus keeps us from focusing on what's beyond, like who's controlling this, who's doing this to us, who's responsible for all of this. Because we know I didn't create the educational system. I didn't came up with the idea of making food cheaper. It was a big trend back in the 50s. What is it, Sam?
Sammy.
Come here. Come here.
Right here.
Hey. Come here. Lay down.
Sam.
Good girl. So basically what he's saying, that the UN announced that they're targeting tobacco, alcohol, and diet. So 2 of those are regulated, right? Tobacco and alcohol are regulated everywhere, all over the world. Doesn't matter where you go. So why are we not regulating sugar then? Why?
It has the same effect on the brain as crack cocaine.
Well, I can tell you the answer. There are 2 answers. A, because food producers would not be very happy, if and that's actually the resistance right here. Food producers don't want to make healthy food. Do you know why not? Because people don't buy them.
And if they do make healthy food and it says it's healthy on there at all, they crank the price up on it. So
that's one of the reasons.
One of the concepts.
Okay, and then the other reason is because we are in a society which is designed to keep people sick. That's the other reason. That's the main reason why you don't know about these things. Okay, so basically that's the primary culprit behind all of these diseases. Okay, he says, of course, regulating food is more complicated. Food is required, whereas tobacco and alcohol are non-essential consumables. The key question is what aspects of the Western diet should be focused on intervention. So in October 2011, Denmark chose to tax foods high in saturated fat, despite the fact that most medical professionals no longer believe that fat is the primary culprit. Yes, today if you talk to nutritionists and any kind of holistic practitioners, they're not going to suggest for you to go on a low-fat diet, okay? The buying the chicken breast and eating it with rice, that's the best, guys. You need to get out of that mindset. You need fat. Your brain needs cholesterol desperately. All of your cells in your body needs cholesterol. And the problem with the fat-free and the low-fat items that people tend to buy in grocery stores is that they put more sugar in them than anything else. So, but now the country is considering taxing sugar as well, a more plausible and defensible step. Indeed, rather than focusing on fat and salt, the current dietary boogeyman of the US Department of Agriculture and the European Food Safety Authority, we believe that attention should be turned to added sugar, defined as any sweetener containing the molecule fructose that is added to food in processing.
How many different names are there for sugar on
There are about 40 different kinds of names created for fructose, sugar, that they put on food labels so that consumers would be terribly confused and would
Instead
not
of saying
know.
high fructose corn syrup.
Well, high fructose corn syrup is illegal in Europe. I don't know if it's still okay to have high fructose. Is it legal here?
Here?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay, well, it's not legal in Europe, so.
I don't know. I'm not reading all the labels around here.
So, well, I still see corn syrup a lot, which is basically a little bit healthier. I don't want to get into that right now. We can talk about it in a different episode, but not as bad as high fructose corn syrup, because now if you're not understanding what we said so far, then let me repeat it again. The problem is fructose, and it doesn't mean that you have to take all the fructose out of your food, because you can't. You see, celeries have fructose in it, carrots have fructose in it, apples have fructose in it, fruits have fructose in it, pretty much all the vegetables have fructose in it. And anything that's a pastry would have fructose in it, grains.
But you would never know it while you're eating the regular Western diet, because I grow stuff in the garden and eat lettuce or cabbage. And since my sugar intake in the past 5 years was only around my family or friends, so at home we never had it here. So my intake, I became modest with my sugar intake. It might not look like it every time you see me at church or some event. I'm like, I'm shoveling it in because I ain't got it all week, man. But what did I say all that for? There was a point.
That the food that we grow
it tastes sweet.
To you.
When you take Fruit preached this to me when she first met me. She said, David, if you'll just go 2 months without sugar, everything will taste sweet.
Yeah, I noticed that when I quit sugar, I cold turkey sugar, like I said, 5 years before I met him, so that was about 12 years ago. And the first thing that I noticed was that I realized that everything is sweet. Cucumbers are sweet, celeries are sweet, milk is very sweet. All of those things that I had no clue. I mean, just milk, think about it. When I was a little kid, I was not willing to drink milk unless somebody added sugar to it.
Put some of that pink strawberry.
Or either the strawberry thing or sugar. Or banana thing or chocolate. But there is sugar needed to be in there for sure, otherwise I would not drink a glass of milk. And so I had no clue that, because lactose is a sugar, I had no clue until that point that lactose is a sugar. So we should taste sweetness when we drink milk, but we don't. And so the reason for that is because our palate is conditioned to what we eat. So this is an important subject of what we're talking about today. A lot of you are not ready to give up sugar, and there are 2 reasons for that. One is biological, the other one is psychological. I understand it because I've been there, okay? I was told about 30 years ago that I needed to quit sugar, and I think I probably straight laughed at the person who told me that. I went home and I thought, how could I live without sugar? And so now, today, I know it's because I was highly addicted to it. And you know, any addict, if you go to them and you try to reason, you know, that, okay, this is bad for you, they're going to tell you, get out of my face.
Well,
I don't want to hear
that. They may
that.
not say get out of my face. They may just say, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, they may just, well, that's the response.
Mind your own business.
That's the response you get nowadays if you tell anybody about sugar, you know. But why is that? Okay, so what are the psychological and what are the biological reasons? So psychological reasons. So we already talked about it. It affects the brain as crack or cocaine. So do you think that you are not addicted to sugar if you eat it? Do you seriously think? Do you seriously think that if you were a regular crack cocaine consumer, you would not get addicted to it? And especially for how many years have you been consuming sugar? Yeah. So if you consumed crack cocaine for 20, 50 years, whatever it is, in your case, do you think that you wouldn't be addicted to it? I don't know.
We work with a lot of addicts.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Starting with ourselves.
I'm an addict, and I'm addicted to feeling good. So my body's broken, my brain's broken, all through my life. So whatever I could reach at to find me to make me feel good, like, oh, I'm having a good day, I would do it. You know, I was desperate. I'd do anything. So drugs, all those things were just to feel good. Now, the same thing with sugar fruit. Mm-hmm. You know, when I started having these CTE storms and I wasn't drinking and I wasn't doing drugs anymore, you know what? She'd find me. I'd be lost, gone. They'd check me out in some other state. I'm driving off to go turn myself somewhere. I mean, I was a lunatic.
And then you look in the car.
When they find me, loaded. A whole seat full of sugar. Little Debbie's, cookies, candy.
Sugar. It was like soda, candies, chocolate, whatever, you name it. And then I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, did you rob a convenience store? I guess.
When you're overwhelmed, you're overstressed, you need something to feel good, people reach for
why? Okay, so
drink,
why?
Soda,
So
candy
sugar
bar.
actually. So why? What does it mean that it affects your brain in the
or
same
potato
way?
chips.
What does it mean that it affects your brain the same way as cocaine does? Well, it increases your dopamine. And the scientific results that they've done comparing, they actually observed rats while they were giving them sugar and cocaine at the same time. And guys, guess which one was preferred by rats, cocaine or sugar? Do you know the answer to that?
Sure.
Yeah. And do you know why?
No. It hits faster.
It hits faster. That's exactly right. So, you know, when you're in a bad mood and you need your chocolate, or, you know, when you're stressed out and you need your
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Or potato chips that turns into sugar.
Potato chips.
Matter of
exactly.
fact, the stuff you don't think has sugar in it because it ain't sweet has sugar.
Right. So that's the psychological reason. Now, a funny thing is that the biological reason is the same. There is a biological process that goes on in the body that creates addiction. And I don't really want to get into that either, but just if you want to look into it,
Just keep coming back.
Yeah,
She'll get
just
into
look
it one
into
day.
how that. We can talk about it,
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about it.
I'd probably have somebody else talk about it. But let's go on with this. Okay, so he says over the past 50 years, consumption of sugar has tripled worldwide. Why? I mean, do we have 3 times more people? And this is actually going. When we're talking about the consumption, they're looking at per capita, right, per person. So that's not the reason that we have more people. The reason is something called the food industry. That's the reason. The reason is that we no longer make our food at home. Nobody. I mean, I swear I don't know anybody else besides myself who is so rigid and strict about eating everything. I mean, David, but that's why he's sitting here with me, because I couldn't bring another person here who would not want to eat from anywhere else.
Amen.
So that's the reason, because then we industrialized food production, and what happened in the 50s, and that's why he's talking about the past 50 years, what happened in the 50s, because remember, this was in 2012, right? So he's talking about the 50s, really. 40s and 50s. That's when, I can't name the president, you guys can go ahead and look it up. It was a US president who made this a plan, literally, to decrease food cost.
Thank you, Lord Jesus, for putting Mr. Kennedy in there with Donald
Oh
Trump.
yeah,
Things
yes,
are going to change.
absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely. So that initiative created a food industry which puts sugar into everything. Why? Well, because it's cheap. And then if you're a food producer, don't you want your consumers come back to you? Yeah, so let's put it, let's put something in there that's gonna bring them back. Well, if everybody's addicted to sugar, then I guess sugar would be a good thing to add to it.
Hey, do you get a dopamine drop when someone hits their like button on your videos and a heart?
I don't know. I swear I was thinking about that the other day when I looked at my phone.
Well, that's why I was reading something the other day, and it was talking
They
about
say
how
you do.
how social media has overwhelmed with dopamine.
Yeah, I heard the devices. What I was reading or
Because
what I
of the
remember
reaction,
is
you
the
know?
notification.
Yeah.
That when a notification goes off on your phone, you get a dopamine drop.
So they bombarded us with sugar, which our body's addicted to it because of the dopamine.
Yeah.
Then that wasn't enough. They bombarded us with devices and social media that's also doing exactly the same thing, which we're now, to get happy, to feel, use the one they call it, to feel good.
We need more.
We need more.
Yeah.
More. I wrote a song back in the 90s called More.
Yeah.
And it compared, I was just experiencing drugs and drugs from the streets, I was just beginning to experience that after being raised away from it all my life. And I wrote a song. Once I got there and experienced it, I wasn't addicted to any of it yet. I had just been experiencing it. And everything I kept asking, why do people like this? Man, why do people want to do this? Why do people want to? So what I wrote was a song called More, and it explained that just like drugs, people want more. No matter how much they get, they need more. Every day they wake up, they need more. It was the same way that I was with God, or religious folks that go to church with God and gathering together and fellowshipping, and it's more, and it's designed now. Fellowship's designed around dopamine bust out. It's like a crack party. I don't mean listen.
Yeah, shush it. Okay. So
Never getting invited again anywhere.
So I'm just skipping this paragraph because it's talking about high fructose corn syrup, which I believe is already not legal in the United States. I hope, oh my Lord, I really just hope, I guess, here. Let's move to the next one. So authorities consider sugar as empty calories, but there's nothing empty about these calories. A growing body of scientific evidence is showing that fructose can trigger processes that lead to liver toxicity and a host of other chronic diseases. Well, let me tell you a little bit about liver toxicity, okay? So your liver is your most important, one of the most important organs in your body, but definitely the most important organ in your body when it comes to detoxification. Detoxification is something that happens in the body all the time. And so the reason why it happens all the time is because we always take in toxins. And if you have any digestive issues, that also means that you're not able to break certain ingredients down, which then gonna turn into a toxin in your body because it's not native, it doesn't belong there, and your body doesn't know what to do with it. So that's how your body hashes out toxins from nutrients, is whether or not it can do something with it. So if your liver is overwhelmed because you got so many toxins in your body that your liver is no longer can process it, that's when all the chronic issues start to blow up. Because why? Because you're filling up with toxins. Okay, and your body has an internal healing system. It's your immune system. That's the function of the immune system. But when the immune system gets overwhelmed, it can't heal you anymore. It can't do anything. It starts to act up and starts to do silly things.
I'm going to throw this out there because this is part of what I believe the suicide in our country is
Oh yeah,
about.
absolutely.
Dealing with CTE and traumatic brain injuries and suicide ideation. For a long time I've dealt with this. When I began cutting out the toxins, the sugars, the processed foods, the drugs, and all that stuff first, alcohol, that feeling of hopelessness got smaller and smaller and smaller. I can make it through this tough time. I've made it through the others. I can make it. I've been doing good for a week. Those things accumulate. You look at them as overwhelmed or stressed out people who are taking their own lives. Your body, your cells are fighting to keep us alive. And our immune system, our cells in our body that are fighting to get the toxins out of our body. Well, they're overwhelmed. There's 1,000,000 against 1,000. You know, it's like the children of Israel against their enemies. They're always outnumbered, overwhelmed. And if you don't have a hope, if you don't have a God, if you don't have something that can cleanse you, purify you from these toxins, the body is designed to get rid of whatever's hurting you, whatever's going to kill you. So that's my belief. It's only a belief. It's not proven. But it's my belief of why suicide is so prevalent in today is that the body is already overwhelmed. We're made of what? How many cells?
Oh, trillions.
Okay, and they're fighting to keep us alive. Their job is to go after what's killing us. And who's doing it? We are. By the food we eat. And there's no hope. No one even understands nutrition. No one knows what food is about.
Let me add something to this. Also, first of all,
including me.
Facebook viewers, you are going to be, we're going to say goodbye to you pretty soon. But let me just add one more thing before we're talking about this. What were you just saying? I already forgot.
About suicide and overwhelming cells being overwhelmed.
Yeah, the last sentence.
I have no idea what's the last sentence was. You got to ask the wrong. She does this to me at all of our little events too. It's like, what did you just say? Brother, don't do that.
Okay, well, you guys, I'll see you all later. I'm gonna figure out what I was gonna say, and then I'm gonna share it in the next video.
You really want to